Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome in to this live edition of Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for spending part of your afternoon with us. Got a big show on tap as we'll catch up to speed on the latest news and rumors in your Seattle Seahawks coming up in just a few moments. Also, we will be looking ahead to Sunday's matchup between Seattle and Arizona. We'll also do a deep dive into potentially a draft selection of Michael Penix Jr. And we'll answer your Q&A mailbag questions as well. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of the show. As we get things started and everybody files in, shout out your city. We'll shout you out as we get on the air and ready to go here on today's show. Shout out your city. We'll show you some love as we get this thing going. Let's see. Lorraine says, Sup, Jones. Good to see you, Lorraine. Cleaning the dirtiest says, hi, Gage. Gage is in the chat. Good to see you. Gage says we're going to win against the Cardinals. We're coming at you here from the Chat Sports Studios in downtown Dallas, Texas, here on this Wednesday. And I got Caleb in the Hawks Nest. Where is the Hawks Nest, Caleb? Let me know. Lorraine in Ontario, California. Cleaning the dirtiest in Rochester, Washington. Good to see everybody here. Already off to today's show. I just saw you guys a couple days ago. We did not just one, but two watch parties this past weekend, too. We were live for the Seahawks game this past week against the Steelers on Sunday, and then we were live again on Monday for the for the Washington, Texas Sugar Bowl. And I have very good news for the 12s out there. We're going to be live again. Not just for Seahawks Cardinals on Sunday, but we're also going to be live coming up on next Monday night for the College Football Playoff National Championship when the Huskies take on the Michigan Wolverines. So another double watch party weekend ahead on Sunday and Monday. So certainly excited about that. You want to make sure to be here with us both days, Sunday and Monday night, right here on Seahawks Today. Let's see. We got Caleb's in Portland, Oregon. That's where the Hawks Nest is. Okay. I got Seahawks 944. Says Bears beat the Packers. Panthers beat the Bucks. I hope so. Jake is in Dallas. Hey, no worries, Jake. Glad to have you back, man. Seahawks 944 in Pocatello, Idaho. David says I get Penix. Caleb says get Nix. I got Skyler in Alger, Washington. He says let's go Seahawks. Good to see you, Skyler. The million-dollar question on everybody's minds, will the Seahawks ultimately make the postseason? The easiest path to get there for Seattle is a win this week against Arizona and for the Chicago Bears to take care of business against the Green Bay Packers. If those two things happen, the Seahawks are in as the 7th seed and then would face either the Detroit Lions, the Philadelphia Eagles, or the Dallas Cowboys. One of those three teams. What do you guys think? Will Seattle make it or not? Nardo checking in Shelton, Washington. Good to see you. Lorraine says yes. Gage says yes. Junior says yes. Jeremy Dodd in Elk, Washington. Good to see you, Jeremy. What do you guys think? Will both those things happen? Will we do our part and get the win over Arizona? And will the Bears do their part to get the win against Green Bay? Clean the Dirtiest says yay. Lorraine says yes, they will make it to the playoffs. Greg says yes. So everybody on the same page in the chat right now. Everybody says yes that the Seahawks will make it. Caleb says yes. Chris checking in from Mill Creek, Washington. Good to see you, Chris. Thanks for being here with us. Before we go any further in today's show, got to tell you about both of our sponsors today. Let's start with Game Time. Game Time, the place to go for tickets for the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, download Game Time today. Get $20 off when you use the promo code Seahawks Chat. Look, I know the Seahawks might not have another home game this year, but whether it's a Kraken game or other events, you can download Game Time and start saving money. $20 off your first purchase. Link going in the chat right now. Download Game Time today. $20 off. Promo code Seahawks Chat. Game Time, proud partner of Seahawks Today and Chat Sports. Also want to tell you about our friends at Factor Meals. I got to tell you, I tried Factor Meals for the first time a few weeks ago, and I loved what Factor Meals had to offer. And They're very easy to make meals. They're healthy meals for you, already chef prepared. You just throw it in the microwave, and 2 minutes later, bam, you're eating Factor meals just like that. Very easy. I think of it like a good bachelor meal of sorts, and it's very affordable. What we're offering with Factor Meals is you can save 50% off when you go to factormeals.com/SeahawksChat50 and use the promo code SeahawksChat50 to save 50% off your first purchase. Link is about to go in the chat right now. Check out Factor Meals, and I can tell you this much. You will be glad you did. Smitty is going to join me here in just a moment. And Smitty, the Flamin' Yan is your personal choice on Factor Meals, right? Yeah. I love the Flamin' Yan. I love all of it with Factor Meals. Well, definitely check out Factor Meals for you. It's going in the chat right now. Factor Meals, proud partner of Seahawks today. So a little fun now. So Smitty's going to join us in a moment, but I want to get you guys' take on this. Have you heard about this Super Bowl logo theory? So the Super Bowl logo theory was thrown out several months ago, but now it's picked up mainstream appeal courtesy of Aaron Rodgers on the McAfee show yesterday. He did talk about Jeffrey Epstein as well, but we won't get into that. But have you seen this, folks? The Super Bowl logo theory, where the colors in the logo match who is in the Super Bowl. So you had a couple years ago, the Rams and the Bengals. Last year, you had the Chiefs and the Eagles. This year, the Niners and the Ravens. And then on top of that, to take it a step further on the Super Bowl logo theory, folks, the team with the lighter, that's got less of their color in it, wins it. The Rams, the Chiefs. Is it already scripted? Are the Niners going to beat the Ravens in the Super Bowl? What do you guys think? Do you believe in the Super Bowl logo theory? Y for yes, in for no. Cordio6 says yes. Die says yes. Smitty joins me right now. Smitty, I hope the Super Bowl logo theory is not true because I do not want the Niners to be winning a Super Bowl. But, I mean, the NFL's given us evidence before that it is scripted.
Yeah, no, this is not real. This is not real. What up, 12s? The Super Bowl logo is literally colors based on the destination of the Super Bowl, made the complete year before. So unless they can script, an entire year's worth of drama, I mean, maybe they do, but no, that's not real.
Peter is saying maybe the red could be the Bucs. I don't know about that, Chief. Caleb says, man, I called it. Chris says F no to the Niners. Hello, guys, says yes. Lorraine says no. What do you guys think? Is the Super Bowl logo theory a real thing or not? Y for yes, in for no. Seahawks and Cardinals coming up this weekend. We'll preview this game coming up later. I'll give you my prediction of who I have winning and what the final score is going to be later on in the show. But want to hear from you guys first. Who wins? What's the final going to be? Weigh in the chat right now and tell us what you think. Smitty, good game Sunday. I think Arizona is better than what their record indicates. I think they showed that last week with that win against Philly. Kyler Murray back and everything here. Seahawks have had some not-so-great history at State Farm Stadium over the years. This could be an interesting game Sunday.
Seattle wins 31-28.
31-28?
Yeah, that's my pick. I don't know. I think this is going to be a high scoring, and I think big plays for both teams are going to be in store. Both defenses are susceptible to big plays. I think it's going to result in a lot of touchdowns on Sunday. Seattle wins a close one on the road in a place that they do not have a lot of success historically, State Farm Stadium. And you got a potential playoff spot barring the result of the Packers-Bears.
Lorraine says 45-0 Seattle. It's QWERTY says Seattle 37-21. Peter says 24-18 Seattle. Ty Man the Buckeye, who's usually a Seahawks hater, is in the chat saying Seahawks.
What up, Ty Man? I appreciate that.
Ty Man, have we converted you now? Are you now a Seahawk guy, Ty Man?
One thing I will say to all the 12s out there is very rarely do we blow out the Arizona Cardinals. And we already beat them by 2 possessions this season. We're going to their place now. Could only beat them by 10 at home. Who started that game? Honestly, Dobbs? It was Dobbs starting that game, and he torched us. What's Kyler Murray going to do? So It's always weird
And-
when Seattle plays the Cardinals.
And it was a 10-point win, but it was closer than what the score indicated.
It was a one-score game in the fourth quarter, for sure. And now we're going on the road to a place where players often get injured. Crazy stuff happens at the end of games, missed field goals. A lot of nonsense goes on. We go to Arizona. So let's calm down on a blowout win this week and try to get the win and let the chips fall where they may as for a playoff berth.
Why don't we even bother picking this game when it's already scripted, when the NFL's already got to figure it out? So, hello, guys, says 27-24 Seahawks. Chris says that field is jinxed. Time in the Buckeyes depends on who's playing there. All right. So, with that, as we are just about ready to get this show started, let's get the chat rolling right now. I got 91 people watching right now. Not bad. Not bad. We haven't officially started yet. We can get more people here if we get that chat popping and get you guys to get active, get involved in the show today. Smitty's going to shout out everybody that's spamming S in the chat. Over this next minute, I want to see as many S's as we can. Be the early favorite to be the MVP at today's show by seeing who can spam S the most right now. Here we go. We'll put it in the chat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. Who's spamming those S's in the chat? Come on. If you love the Seahawks, let's get some S's down low. I got Lorraine spamming S. Ty Man the Buckeye spamming S. Maybe he has converted to being a Seahawk fan. I got Joker Vision. I got It's Qwerty. I got Vance Adams. I got Kit Kat Bar. I got Ty Man. I got Joker. I got Cookie. I got Joe. Come on. Keep spamming S. Keep spamming S for your Seattle Seahawks. They have a chance to make the playoffs with a win and another result. With the Packers and Bears in Week 18. Let's go. I got Caleb. I got Jose. I got Christopher. I got Jeremy, Kelly, Joe, Isaac, Tyman, Qwerty, Lorraine. Come on. Keep spamming. Jose, Isaac, Qwerty, Tyman, Lorraine, Kelly, Joe, Caleb.
15 seconds left. Faster. Finish strong.
Mohorn. Let's go. Caleb, Mohorn, Lorraine, Kelly, Qwerty.
5 seconds.
Being real MVPs. Cookie. Hello, guys.
Nice.
Appreciate you guys.
Good stuff.
Keep spamming S.
Good stuff, everybody. Thanks for spamming those S's in the chat. We mentioned got close to 100 people watching right now. I'm at 25 likes. I need at least 30 to start today's show. I don't think I'm asking too much. I just need about 4 more, and then we get started. If you want a Seahawks win this weekend, want to make the playoffs, you want a Huskies win this weekend against the Michigan Wolverines for a national title, excuse me, hit that like button. Give us a like right now. Show us some love. And once we get to 30 likes, then we will officially get this show started and on the road here on this Wednesday afternoon. 3 more, and I'll take a nice chug when we get there as well. 3 more likes, and then we'll get started here on this live edition of Seahawks Today. Thanks for spending your Wednesday with us. There we go. 32 likes right there. Joker Vision says, like the video, y'all. Keep going. Keep going. Don't slow down on liking the video either. We want to get as many likes as we can. Much appreciate all the 12s out there for liking the video and getting this thing started. All right. Usually I'm not a big fan of the pineapple, but it's kind of hitting today. I grabbed a pineapple Happy Dad on accident. Not bad, actually. On today's show, news and rumors. We're talking Caleb Williams, Pete Carroll's future. Also got an injury update on Phil Haynes that we'll get to. We'll preview the matchup with the Cardinals, not the Steelers. That was last week. We'll preview that coming up in just a bit. Also, we will discuss the idea of drafting Michael Penix Jr. Got a little player profile that we'll do on Penix coming up in just a bit. And we'll do a live Q&A mailbag at the end of the show as well. You want on the mailbag portion of the show, use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag segment at the end of the show. Don't miss out on that. On this edition of Seahawks Today, that is what's ahead. Let's show you the Super Chat menu here, and then we'll get things going. Here is a way you guys want. We told you earlier, the Super Chats are your chance to potentially get priority on the mailbag. But if you would like to have a little party with us, spend your Wednesday accordingly, here's what we're offering. First-time Super Chatters, you get the Seahawks chance. $5 Super Chat, we'll play a little Truth or Dare action with you. $10 Super Chat, we'll take a shot. $20, we'll do a little beer chug. $100 gets you a spot in the Emerald Club. And our offer that is only for Wednesdays, that is the boot. That is extremely discounted compared to what it is on game days. $200 on Wednesdays. We get there collectively, then a boot will go down. I haven't done a Wednesday boot in a minute, so we could change that today. I don't care that it's the middle of the week. I'm still down for that. If we get $200 collectively, we'll make that happen. So that is on the menu today. We will get going. Our first segment of the day, talking Caleb Williams, Pete Carroll. Also got injury news to get to. All of that and more. Thanks for hanging out with us, spending your Wednesday here on Seahawks Today. Let's get after and get going. All right. Coming up on today's show, could the Seattle Seahawks trade up in the 2024 NFL Draft for USC quarterback Caleb Williams? We'll dive into that possibility. Also, is Pete Carroll coaching for his job this weekend against Arizona? Besides just a playoff berth, could Pete Carroll be fired if the Seahawks lose to the Cardinals? Also got some injury news that we'll get to coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we get to that, though, folks, if you're ready for Sunday, I need you to spam S in the comments section if you're ready for Seahawks football. Each and every game day in the chat, we get it popping with people spamming S to show love for their Seattle Seahawks. I want to do a little warm-up, a little pep rally of sorts. Get a little pep in your step for Sunday. Spam S in the chat if you're ready for Seahawks football, and we'll get started here on today's show. Caleb Williams to Seattle. Could the Seahawks be making a trade to acquire the number 1 overall pick from the Chicago Bears to get the USC quarterback? The Bears are going to have the number 1 pick again, this time because of the trade with the Carolina Panthers last year where they traded down, and now they find themselves in a similar situation where they could end up keeping Justin Fields, trade that pick, get more picks, and pass on the number 1 quarterback, this year being Caleb Williams instead. Dan Graziano of ESPN brought up this possibility, saying the following: I do not know what the Bears will ultimately do in the lead-up to the draft. Fields has played well down the stretch as the Bears appear to have rallied around embattled coach Matt Eberflus, possibly even saving Eberflus' job. Trading away the top pick, amassing more picks, and using them to build around Fields is a legitimate option. Some might even say it's their best. Now, the Bears trading that number 1 pick, I think, is very possible. Justin Fields, I think, is a very good quarterback that has been in an awful situation in Chicago. The talent around him hasn't been that great. The coaching hasn't been that great. The offensive line has struggled, and he still has shown potential, I think, to be a very good quarterback in this league. And if you're the Bears, if you're going to run it back with Eberflus and everything, then it might make sense to go ahead and trade. And you look at Caleb Williams, as the talent is there. No one's arguing that. There have been some character concerns that might make teams pause on wanting Caleb Williams, and a team like Chicago to say, you know what, we're okay with potentially trading this pick. Heavy.com's Jonathan Adams connected the possibility of Williams with a trade to the Hawks, saying the Seahawks will find it more challenging than the Panthers to move up to number 1 in the coming months as a result of several factors. Williams has been widely regarded as the top prospect longer than Young was heading into the 2023 draft. The Trojan Star has taken a hit in recent weeks with USC struggles down the stretch. There was a time when Williams was being mentioned in the same category as prospects like Andrew Luck and Trevor Lawrence. Now, it would be an expensive trade. Let's make that very clear. It's not going to be cheap if you want to bring in Caleb Williams, but it's not impossible. It's not out of the question. I think at a minimum, okay, what you're talking about of a potential trade of Seattle pulling this off to bring in Caleb Williams is that the Seahawks would have to give up 3 number 1s, 2024, 2025. We can't even put it all on the graphic here, folks, because it would require that much. And probably one of your 3rd-round picks this year. Remember, you don't have a 2nd-round pick this year as well. That was taken by the Giants in the Leonard Williams trade. I think that's just the minimum. That's just where we start. It might even require more than that to pull off this type of deal. And I'm not saying I'm for this, just saying this is what it would take at a minimum to get a deal done. The question then I would ask, okay, let's say you can do it. If the Bears sign up and say, yeah, we'll take the trade, and the Seahawks are in a position where they can get this done. Then the next question I ask is, if you make up your mind that Caleb Williams is your guy, that you want to do this, that you want to make this trade, then in a team that would then be trying to build for the future, how are you supposed to build for said future if you're going to mortgage it around him? Having Caleb Williams would be nice, sure, but if I trade away all my draft capital, how am I supposed to put talent around said quarterback? That's a tough predicament that if you're the Seattle Seahawks, all of a sudden it might not be that great of an idea to trade for Caleb Williams, where it ultimately could be just too much. Now, Caleb Williams, I know very well, as most of you know. I'm an Oklahoma guy, saw him in Norman, but that doesn't mean that I'm biased against him because he left my Oklahoma Sooners. He was fantastic at USC with Lincoln Riley, who we call Tebow in Norman. Won a Heisman Trophy, unanimous All-American, 93 touchdowns. The numbers are there. Even this year, that was considered a down year for Caleb Williams, still threw 30 touchdowns, had 11 rushing touchdowns, 41 TDs this year. He showed them TDs all season long. Caleb Williams, the talent is not the question. It's the character concerns that pause for a second and why I would be hesitant to trade so much for Caleb Williams as far as that goes. So, what do you guys think? Should Seattle give up all that to make a move for Caleb Williams? Y for yes, in for no. Our pinned comment today. Weigh in the comment section. Tell us what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time, the place to go for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more. Just because the Seahawks don't have any more home games doesn't mean you can't use Game Time. Whether you want to go see your Seattle Kraken or your favorite shows, events, whatever, Game Time is great for all occasions. Here's how it works. Choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed from there. You select your seat. You get to see if you like that seat or not. And then within a matter of moments, you're checking out, getting your tickets on Game Time. You can pay with Apple Pay, Google Pay, a number of easy products. Link going in the comment description of today's video right now. And here's the deal. We're giving you $20 off with the promo code SeahawksChat. So go ahead, use it on your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Terms and conditions do apply. Game Time, proud partner of Chat Sports and Seahawks Today. Promo code SeahawksChat for $20 off. Link is in the comments and description of today's video. Pete Carroll is the hot seat, very toasty, heading into this weekend's game against the Arizona Cardinals. A big question for Seattle. Could this be the last game that Pete Carroll is the head coach of this organization if they do not beat Arizona and make it in the postseason? Seaside Joe, who does a terrific job covering the Seahawks on his Substack site, does really good work. I encourage you to subscribe to his newsletter that he does on there. Had a very interesting piece laying out this situation that came out today. And listen to this, what Joe had to say. If the Seahawks lose to the Cardinals, then under normal circumstances, almost any head coach in the same situation would be subject to having conversations with ownership about his ability to help the franchise get to the Super Bowl. So, well, some of you may say, hey, Pete's won all these games. He's won the Super Bowl. He's done all this for the organization. Take two steps back and think about Pete being measured up to how other coaches are in these circumstances. And the truth of the matter is this, that if the Seahawks lose to the Cardinals, then you look at the second half of the year when the Cardinals had Kyler Murray, they would have been the worst team in the NFC West for the second half of 2023. And if you bring him back, and we've already heard that he wants to bring Jamal Adams back and how they've set up things and that they didn't really make significant progress from last year to this year, what you're asking then, you're setting yourself up potentially is to say, you know what? We might as well finish last in the NFC West next year. That's the bottom line in all this, folks. If you bring Pete Carroll back for one more go-round and it doesn't work out this week and you end up missing the postseason and losing to Arizona, you are asking yourself to finish in last place in the division next year. That hurts, but that's a fact, Jack. Look at how this season has gone for the Seahawks. 8-8, third in the division. They lost 5 out of 6 games, 4 in a row. Just an awful stretch from October 5th to December 10th. 17 in points per game. You have all those weapons on the offense, and they haven't been able to put up points the way that they should. Geno took a step back this year. The defense was a problem. Clint Hurt did a terrible job. And right now you hold the 15th overall pick. In a perfect world, if I'm Jody Allen and the powers that be with the Seahawks organization, I would hope that somebody would actually want to trade for Pete Carroll. Then I can get a new head coach, and I can get some draft capital as well, similar to like what the Saints had with Sean Payton a couple of years ago. To me, then that could be a win-win. If somebody wants him, by all means, you can have Pete Carroll. I'll go get a new coach, and I'm going to get something out of you. To me, that would be the ideal scenario if you're the Seattle Seahawks. So, we believe that it is time to move on from Pete Carroll here on Seahawks Today. Do you agree? Type T for true, type F for false. Let us know what you think in that comment section below. Folks, for the second straight week in a row, we have not one, but 2 watch parties this weekend here on Seahawks Today. We're going to be live on Sunday for the Seahawks matchup against the Arizona Cardinals. And then we're going to follow that up. We're going to run it back on Monday night with the College Football Playoff National Championship game as your Washington Huskies take on the Michigan Wolverines. I would love to get to 48,000 subscribers before Monday night. So, Seahawks fans, Washington Husky fans, sub for Dubs. Sub now to the channel and join us for our double watch party weekend here on the channel. It is guaranteed to be a good time. You won't want to miss out. Subscribe now for free. We'll see you on Sunday and Monday live right here on Seahawks Today. One final note before we get out of here today, an injury update from your Seattle Seahawks. Offensive lineman Phil Haynes has been designated to return to the team off of that toe injury, and it opens up his 21-day window. For now, he doesn't count against the 53-man roster. We haven't seen Phil Haynes play since week 13, so it has been a minute that he's been dealing with this issue. And in his place, we've seen rookie Anthony Bradford. And although that I think a lot of us were excited about Anthony Bradford and what he could potentially bring to the Seahawks team, he has struggled filling in for Phil Haynes. He hasn't been ready for that role, and it's been a problem for that Seahawks interior of the offensive line, what we've seen from Anthony Bradford. He is a rookie, but he just simply might not be cut out for that role. At least he wasn't ready for this right now. And so that leaves the Seahawks in an interesting situation where you look at the grades of what we've seen from Anthony Bradford. Pass blocking's been just horrendous. Run blocking, not so great. Overall grade, around 51. He's had plenty of snaps, 609 snaps, but it just hasn't worked out. If the Seahawks are going to make a deep playoff run, they badly need Phil Haynes back because Anthony Bradford, maybe he's going to be good down the line, but he's not there right now. So good to see Phil Haynes at least making a step forward to potentially being back on the football field before the end of the year. Who should start for the Seahawks? Do you roll with Phil Haynes, or do you like the rookie Anthony Bradford? You know me. I'm going Phil Haynes right now. P for Phil Haynes, A for Anthony Bradford. Let us know who you think should start, and we'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today. All right. So, one segment down. We have 3 segments to go. We'll do our game preview next, and then we'll do a look at drafting Michael Penix and a Q&A mailbag as well coming up later on. But checking in on the chat right now, a lot of you are adamant about Pete Carroll staying in Seattle. Smitty, that's interesting because every time I've asked this, it's always been the opposite of, we did this at a watch party a couple times. Everybody said fire Pete for the most part. It's on the community tab today. Majority is saying fire Pete. But those that are here today in the chat are adamant about giving Pete one more chance to be back next year. Where do you stand right now?
It's over, man. He's not winning another Super Bowl, so why keep him around? I promise you, Pete Carroll, if he sticks around for, what is it going to be, 2-3 more years?
Yeah.
Seahawks are winning Super Bowl. I promise that. So let's get some new blood in here. It's a new era. Listen, it's been 12 years. It's been 13 years.
It was a good run.
It was a great run.
A lot of fun memories.
A lot of fun memories. A lot of exciting games. And a lot of passion from Pete Carroll. But it's over, man.
Pete,
gotta let it go.
Pete's going in the Hall of Fame someday. I mean, he has done a lot for this organization, and we're grateful for him. But it's time. Lorraine changed her tune. She's saying that she's got true on that answer. We've done enough convincing on that front there. Up next, game preview time. Seahawks and Cardinals coming up this weekend. We'll tell you about this matchup and go to the injury report. I get keys to victory. Also, a prediction and more coming up on the other side. So don't miss out on that. Our game preview segment is coming up right now. Smitty, we all set? We good to go? All right. Here we go. Segment 2, game preview time here on Seahawks Today. It's the biggest game of the year for your Seattle Seahawks as they take on the Arizona Cardinals in Week 18, rivalry week in the National Football League, trying to stay alive in the playoff fight. Welcome into this edition of Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you with a complete preview of this matchup. We'll get to my keys to victory, go over the injury report, prediction, and more coming up in just a few moments. Before we do that, let's start with the playoff picture, where things stand for Seattle heading into the weekend. The only spot up for grabs for the Seahawks is that number 7 seed at the moment. Green Bay holds the spot, but Seattle, New Orleans, and Minnesota are all technically still alive for that 7 seed for the time being. And the Seahawks can get in the playoffs one of 3 ways this weekend. One of those is a win against Arizona, and then Green Bay losing or tying against Chicago. And then the other possibilities are much harder. That's the easiest route to get to the postseason. The other 2, a little more difficult. A Seattle tie, a Green Bay loss or tie, and a Tampa Bay loss or tie. And then option 3 is a Seattle tie, a Green Bay loss, and a New Orleans loss or tie. Any one of those 3 scenarios happen, the Seahawks are in. But the easiest path is a win over Arizona and a Chicago win over Green Bay, and then the Seahawks are the number 7 seed. They would then face either the Cowboys, the Eagles, or the Lions in the wild card round on the road. Before we go any further in today's show, if you want the Seahawks to beat the Cardinals and make the playoffs, like today's video, don't jinx it. Don't be the reason why the Seahawks didn't get the job done because you didn't like today's video. I need everybody, all hands on deck, liking the video to make sure we all do our part to get the Seahawks in the postseason. Show some love for your Seattle Seahawks. Don't jinx it. Don't make me come find you because you didn't like today's video. Like the video, and we'll continue here on today's show. Let's start with the injury report for the Seahawks, and it is a little lengthy. Jason Peters, Mario Edwards, Jordan Brooks, Artie Burns, they are all questionable with various injuries. And it doesn't stop there. Abraham Lucas, Evan Brown, Kenneth Walker, all are questionable as well. 7 total players on the injury report for the Seahawks entering this week. Meanwhile, for Arizona, theirs is not as lengthy. Most notable, Garrett Williams, the corner, with an ankle injury. He is ruled out for this game. He will not play for the Arizona Cardinals there. 2 big concerns for me going into this week of this matchup, and they're pretty obvious from that injury report there. One is the holes on the offensive line. When you're talking about 2 starters there, with Abe Lucas and Evan Brown, that's a big problem. And even Jason Peters, who backs up Abraham Lucas on the injury report, is not a great sign. And this has been the theme for the Seahawks all season long, is that they've had issues with that offensive line. The second is not having Jordan Brooks. I know Devin Bush led the Seahawks in tackles last week, but I got to tell you, eye test tells me Devin Bush is not that good of a football player. And if I'm going to be potentially out Jordan Brooks again and have to depend on Devin Bush, that doesn't sound like a great idea. So That's where I'm feeling headed into this weekend. Later on in the show, I got my prediction for you of what the final score will be and who wins it. But want to hear from you guys first. Crystal ball time. Let us know who wins. What's the final going to be? Chime in that comment section. Weigh in. Tell us how you think this game is ultimately going to play out. Now, let's tell you about today's sponsor. That's our friends at Factor. I got to tell you, I really love Factor meals. Tasty, easy, good bachelor meal, as I call it. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door with over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan, plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons. You'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Forget frantic lunch preps and rushed dinners. Factor's 2-minute meals are your secret weapon in the new year. Fuel up fast with restaurant-quality meals, all delivered right to your door. When things get hectic, Factor is flexible. Change your order up every week with plans from 4 to 18 meals per week, or pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. Head to factormeals.com/chatsports50 and use code SeahawksChat50 to get 50% off. That's code SeahawksChat50 at factormeals.com/SeahawksChat50 to get 50% off. Factor Meals, proud partner of Seahawks Today and Chat Sports. Give Factor Meals a run. I can tell you this right now. You are going to love Factor Meals. You will not be disappointed. Factor Meals, proud partner of Seahawks Today. Seahawks Chat 50. Link going in the comments and description of today's video. Check out Factor Meals for the best meals around. You will not be disappointed. I can promise you that much. Factormeals.com/SeahawksChat50 for more. All right, hold on a second, folks. Quick graphic adjustment accordingly. Stand by here, folks. The first key to the game is going to be contain Kyler Murray. I'll tell you that here in just a second. Waiting on a quick adjustment, and then we'll continue as promised with our keys to victory here. And then later on, I do have my prediction for this game. So stand by for that as well. We're almost there, folks. Virgil says Cards take us down 33-27. Pablo says Seahawks are screwed. Pablo, have some faith, my guy. Come on now. We're in the same position we were in last year, where the Seahawks needed a win and Packers to lose, and it all worked out. So let's make it all happen this week, right? All right. I think we're ready. Are we ready? Okay. We'll try this again here, folks. Elona says go Seahawks. Beat the Cardinals. I agree. Go Seahawks. Here we go. We will take it from here. All right, here we go. First key to victory for your Seattle Seahawks, containing Kyler Murray. What is the big difference between this Seattle Seahawks team compared to the last time they faced the Arizona Cardinals? Kyler Murray is under center now for this Arizona team, and Arizona is playing much better football. They put a smackdown on the Philadelphia Eagles last week. They have been a different team. And I think about it this way. Real simple for you, folks. If Kyler Murray can have an off day, if he can have a bad day, Seahawks easily win this game. To me, Kyler Murray is the only thing that gives this Arizona Cardinals team a chance. We know that Kyler Murray can be a good passer. He's one of the fastest players in the league, very mobile. He is a problem to deal with. And their offense is going to be generated based on how much Kyler Murray can really get that thing going, get the wheels turning on that offense. And the script of sorts for the Arizona Cardinals is pretty simple. Since 2022, they are winless when they score less than 22 points. So if you can contain Kyler Murray and avoid that offense from getting the big plays and turning this into a shootout, if you can hold them under 22, you're going to win this football game. Simple as that. That's the worst in the NFL, folks. Seahawks do that, they're going to be in great shape as far as that goes. Contain Kyler Murray, they're going to be fine. Number two, establishing the run. I feel like we talk about this every week, but It's pretty simple. When the Seahawks throughout the season have won football games, when they've looked at their best, it's been when they've run the football well, when they've established the run. We've heard from John Schneider and Pete Carroll say they want to be a run-first football team and all that, and yet too many times throughout the year, this Seahawks team gets away from the run game when that should be their bread and butter. I know that we showed you earlier Kenneth Walker on the injury report and all that, but I got to tell you, whether Kenneth Walker is 100% healthy or not, that should not change the game plan of establishing the run. If it's got to be Zach Charbonnet as your bell cow, the guy leading the way in the run game, that's fine with me. I think you very well should be just as aggressive running the football and run the football just as well if Charbonnet's your guy and Kenneth Walker's not available. Next man up mentality. It shouldn't matter whether Kenneth Walker is there or not. We love having Kenneth Walker there, and he's a big difference maker. But Zach Charbonnet, I have no reason why to think he can't get the job done if he's going to be the guy in line for this Seahawks team. So far this season, Charbonnet's number has been okay. 4 yards a carry. He's got a touchdown, 430 yards. I kind of expected more out of Zach Charbonnet, but they've kind of limited his role. This could be a huge opportunity for him to show how good he really is on that front. I'm watching out for Zach Charbonnet potentially here. I mean, and this goes back to exactly what I was saying. Seahawks are 3-0 when they rush for 120 yards or more in a game this year, just as a team. That's best in the NFL. So Seahawks do that, they're going to be in great shape. They're going to be just fine. Who's a player that needs to step up and have a big game? Zach Charbonnet specifically came to mind for me. What about you? Weigh in. Tell me a name in the comments section who needs a big game for the Seattle Seahawks. Weigh in and let us know what you think. Folks, we have an exciting year ahead in 2024 for your Seattle Seahawks. We have, of course, our watch party coming up this weekend. Got another watch party coming up for the national championship when Washington takes on Michigan. But this is going to be the place to be when it comes draft content, trades, free agency, each and every day. We're not slowing down at all. And I hope that this is not the last Seahawks watch party we do of the year this weekend for this Seahawks-Cardinals game. But you better believe if it is, we're going out with a bang. One way or the other, we are going to have a hell of a time coming up this weekend. Seahawks-Cardinals, we get started about an hour prior to kickoff. Smitty's going to be here with me, and we're going to have a few drinks on hand. It's going to be a great time. Make sure to join us live coming up here on Seahawks Today for Seahawks-Cardinals right here on the channel. Do not miss out on it. You will not be disappointed. All right. Somebody cut into our graphic sheet? That light keeps going out in there. Yeah, goodness. All right, number 3 on our keys to victory is DK Metcalf. You guys know how it goes. DK, touchdowns all day. He rules. We need DK. We need DK more than ever to have touchdowns all day and really just insert his will. I got to tell you, I love what I've seen from DK Metcalf as of late. He's been playing some great football. He's over 1,100 yards receiving on the year. He's got 8 touchdowns. And this is, we mentioned, the most important game of the year. The Seahawks need DK to come through more than ever before right now. This is his moment, his time to shine, averaging over 17 yards a reception. We mentioned the 8 touchdowns, 1,100 yards. This could be a DK Metcalf legacy game. That's what we're talking about potentially here, where you look at what this Seahawks team needs to get done, playoffs on the line, and the passing game with their importance, the dependence on DK. This is a different team when DK plays well. DK needs to have a big day. Watch out for DK, and not just the yards, but getting in the end zone too. I'm excited about DK. Let's see what he can do to finish off this season on a high note. Win on third down. This has been a problem all season long for the Seattle Seahawks, has been third down and how much they've struggled converting. Timing is everything, though. And while the Seahawks have struggled on third down all year long, Week 18 is the perfect week to turn things around. Not just because you desperately need to try to make the postseason, but listen to what the statistics show here. We know the Seahawks' third down conversion offense isn't very good. 25th in the league, 35.38% is the number. The Cardinals, meanwhile, have the worst third down defense in the league. 47.15% third down defense. So, with that said, this is a chance for the Seahawks. If you're ever going to convert on third downs, if you're ever going to get it right, this is a golden opportunity to do so for Seattle. Last but not least, cutting down on penalties. Man, sometimes I watch the Seahawks team when it comes to the penalties, and they don't look like a team that's reached the week 18 point in the season. They look like they're making mistakes that they should be making in the preseason or early on, that they continue to stumble in their own way. This is basically a playoff game at this point. Mistake-free. I don't want to see any of those silly pre-snap penalties that we see all the time. And we mentioned DK earlier, touchdowns all day. Definitely can't afford any of the unsportsmanlike penalties and all that nonsense there. This has got to be keep your focus in, do what you need to do, and put your best foot forward. And penalties can't be an excuse, can't be a reason why. You look at the penalty stats, it's bad this year. 30th, 32nd, 23rd. Seahawks got to do better than that. I mean, just simple as that. It's just unacceptable at this juncture to get in the way as this team does. It's not an official problem. It's a Seahawks problem. And we'll be monitoring on Sunday, not just our game, but also that Bears-Packers game. Unfortunately, the Bears have not beat the Packers since 2018. What's your confidence level for that Bears-Packers game of the Bears getting it done in Green Bay? Scale it for me in the comment section 1 through 10. How do you feel about the Bears' chances against Green Bay? Let us know what you think. To recap, our keys to a Seahawks victory: containing Kyler Murray, establishing the run. DK, touchdowns all day. We need him to rule. Got to win on third down. Got to cut down on penalties. If the Seahawks do all that, I think they'll be in good shape. I think this could be a game where the Seahawks outscore Arizona, where they insert their will, where the offense does what they need to do. The Seahawks do their part to get in the postseason. I think they win 33-23 over the Arizona Cardinals. How about you? Who wins? What's the final score going to be? Predict it for me in the comments section and let us know how you think this is going to play out. If you enjoyed today's show, hit the like button on today's video. Show us some support. Do your part to get that Seahawks win. And we shall see you next time right here on Seahawks Today. All right. Halfway home. Not your fault. Who was moving in the studio? Rolly. Spam F. Rolly in the chat. F. Rolly, screwing our graphics over. Oh, yeah, folks, that was not my fault, not Smitty's fault. Rolly tried to sabotage this show in the middle of a cut. F. Rolly. Get those F. Rollies in the chat. Nonetheless, how do you think this game's going to go? Seahawks Cardinals coming up on Sunday. Predict who wins. What's the final score going to be? Chris says 30-27 Hawks. Pacific Northwest says Bears need to win, period. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And the other thing, I'll say this, Smitty, that works to our advantage as far as rooting on the Bears goes. That number one pick, they already got locked up, and that had to do with Carolina, not them. So that's not a team that's trying to tank of sorts like you would think about that's in their position. In fact, Justin Fields is potentially playing for his job. Their head coach, Matt Eberflus, is potentially coaching for his job here. The Seahawks get lucky that the team they need help from is actually a pretty motivated team.
The Bears, like you said, they are motivated. They're playing inspired football for a coach that they want, I guess, back next season, which is crazy. I'm not a big fan of Matt Eberflus, but their roster's getting better. They're coming along. They got young talent, and they want to continue to get better. And why would they want to waste reps, in a critical week where, I know they're not in the playoff race, but they have an opportunity to get better and finish the season strong. Justin Fields is another opportunity to show that he is a franchise quarterback and that they don't need Caleb Williams. So Chicago's motivated. Green Bay owns them, so obviously I don't think Chicago would ever bow down in a game against Green Bay, no matter the circumstance.
No. I think this is an audition for Justin Fields. Of sorts.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
This is his last one.
Yeah. This is a huge game. So that is the silver lining of sorts for this weekend for the Seahawks. Of the team they need help from is motivated despite being out. I mean, like last year, for example, very similar circumstance, right? When you had the Detroit Lions, who had already been eliminated, taking on the Green Bay Packers. That was a team that wanted to finish the season on a high note. Jared Goff on a national stage wanted to beat the Green Bay Packers. Dan Campbell trying to prove himself. Nobody was necessarily getting fired from that team, but they had a chip on their shoulder. Like that kind of sparked the start of the 2024 season for them, that win.
Kind of exactly the same thing with the Chicago Bears team. Like they're looking to be inspired. They're looking to finish strong and start a culture in Chicago playing football. So I respect the Bears like not bowing out or anything like that. Like let's go play some football and let's have some fun. Guys are fighting for jobs right now. They need to win.
Yeah, they certainly do. Let's go back to Super Chat menu when you get a second. We haven't got our first Super Chat of the day, by the way. I want to see who's going to send the first one. It's happy hour. It's Wednesday. We got a big week ahead. We need some really good energy, some good vibes. I want to see who is going to set the tone and just get some good energy going our way, because we need every bit of it heading into Sunday right now, folks. $ next to the chat box if you want to contribute. First time Super Chatters, you get the Seahawks chant. $5 Super Chat, play a little truth or dare. $10 to take a shot. $20 do a little beer chug. $100 get you a spot in the Emerald Club. That's our Seahawks Day Hall of Fame. And if we get $200 collectively, then we will take down Das Booth. So I'm waiting to see who is going to be the one to get this thing going. I got 111 people watching right now, and I just want to see who wants to set the tone to get this thing going here on today's show. So that is what we're offering today. Let's see if we can get the ball rolling and get good energy going our way for our Seattle Seahawks here coming up this weekend. Up next here on Seahawks Today is Michael Penix. We're going to talk about the possibility of drafting him. Also, we have a Q&A mailbag to get to, and we need your questions. We still need, I don't know if we've gotten any questions yet. #Seahawks to get in on the mailbag, or you can super chat, and we'll answer your questions. We'll have those coming up later. So get your questions in. I'm checking in the chat right now. Josh, Mike, Ilona, Mr. Big, Chicago sports fan. Y'all need to get your questions in. I don't know what you're waiting for. Lorraine, Pacific Northwest, I want to hear from you guys. I want you guys to get your questions in so we can get you included on the mailbag. If you send in a question, there's a pretty dang good chance you're making the mailbag today. I can tell you that right now. With no questions in at this point, golden opportunity to get into the mailbag. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming up after this next segment as we're talking all things Michael Penix Jr. Peter, good job there. Peter's got a good question. We'll get Peter in the mailbag. So thanks for that, Peter. But #Seahawks or Super Chat, we'll react to those coming up in just a bit. Right now, though, let's tell you about Michael Penix Jr., the Washington Huskies quarterback, and break down the chances of him ending up with your Seattle Seahawks. Let's see. Josh says, we made playoffs almost every year. So do you not want to make the playoffs? What are you talking about, Josh? What are you talking about? Ilona says, got a good question. Ilona will get you in the mailbag. Yeah, folks, keep sending in those questions. We'll react to them coming up in just a little while. Josh, like, you can all caps me like that, but I can't put you on the screen unless you use the #Seahawks or Super Chat. What? Yeah, I'm saying he can all caps me, but I can't put him on screen if he doesn't put #Seahawks in. Right, you can all caps #Seahawks. Hello, guys. Like, I see your question, but you don't have a #Seahawks in. We cannot put you on screen. I don't know how many times I need to say this. We cannot put you on screen unless you use the #Seahawks or Super Chat. Simple as that. It's how our software works. So, all right. I think we're about ready here. Keep sending in the questions, though, for that mailbag segment coming up momentarily. Michael Penix, the Washington Huskies quarterback. Let's talk about him and the chances of him ending up in Seattle. We'll get to that right now. Dylan, great. You got the question in there. Hashtag Seahawks. Good stuff there, Dylan. Be like Dylan. Get your questions in. All right. Here we go. Welcome in. Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here. Thanks for joining us. On today's show, we are talking all about Michael Penix Jr., the Washington Huskies quarterback. Could he stay in Seattle and be the next quarterback for your Seattle Seahawks? We'll break down his chances of being selected by your Seattle Seahawks. Before we get to that, a reminder, coming up Monday night, we will be live right here on Seahawks Today for our Washington versus Michigan College Football Playoff National Championship watch party. Our coverage begins 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. It is going to be a fantastic game. We are going to be rooting on the dogs here together on the channel. You won't want to miss out on it. We're going to do it Seahawks style on the channel, but we're going to be openly rooting for your Washington Huskies. So join us coming up Monday night live right here on Seahawks Today for Washington versus Michigan. Michael Penix Jr. helped lead the Huskies to a perfect 14-0 record. They won the Pac-12 title, the final Pac-12 title ever. Also earned a spot in the college football playoff and in the national championship game. And quite the story, a guy that originally had committed to the University of Tennessee. And Jeremy Pruitt, the head coach, pulls his scholarship offer, ends up at Indiana, was pretty good at Indiana, got hurt, dealt with some injuries, ends up transferring to Washington, wins the Comeback Player of the Year award in 2022, and then was a Heisman finalist this year. And the scouting report on Michael Penix, there's a few things that stand out. Excellent decision maker. Michael Penix does a really good job of taking care of the football and distributing it where it needs to go. He dissects defenses well in pre-snap, does a really good job of reading those defenses, very high football IQ, solid accuracy when it comes to those decisions that he makes. His footwork is subtle in the pocket, and he kind of lacks plus arm strength. You're not going to see Michael Penix throwing 80-yard bombs, but he can still make the throws that he needs to make. And when I was watching the All-State Sugar Bowl the other night, the big thing that I saw from Michael Penix Jr. that showed his maturity, and I would say one of his biggest strengths as a quarterback, was that he was able to put the football where only his receiver could get it. Either it was going to be incomplete or it was going to be a big play. And to me, that's a huge sign for a quarterback, especially at that next level. I know that the throwing motion, it might look a little off to the eye with him being a lefty and all that, but don't worry, folks. Michael Penix Jr., his football IQ is there, that connection with his receivers. The numbers this season were very good. You include the numbers from this past weekend in the Sugar Bowl. He's got 35 touchdowns on the year, 9 picks, over 4,600 yards, 65% completion percentage. Very good from Michael Penix. And in that game against Texas, and I would say the same thing about what he did against Oregon in the Pac-12 title game, just complete command of the offense. Michael Penix was in control of what that offense was going to do. Over 400 yards passing. Texas's defense really just had no answer, and Michael Penix was really able to do whatever he wanted. And so we got more on Michael Penix that we're going to get to here in just a second, but I want to ask you guys our pinned comment first. Should the Seahawks draft Michael Penix Jr.? Y for yes, in for no. Should he be the next quarterback for your Seattle Seahawks? Weigh in the comment section and tell us what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time, the place to go for last-minute tickets for the lowest prices guaranteed. Now, the Seahawks home games may be over now, but that doesn't mean that you still can't get the best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed to other sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more. Maybe you want to go see the Seattle Kraken play this weekend. You can do so with Game Time. Pick the event you want to go to. Prices are all listed. Then you get to see the seat that you could be potentially sitting in. They got the flash deals as well that might be a deal you just simply can't pass up on. Then from there, you're checking out within a matter of moments just like that, and it's real simple to use. Apple Pay, Google Pay, you can download your tickets in just a matter of moments. Last-minute tickets, this is the place to do so. Promo code Seahawks Chat, get $20 off on your first purchase. Terms and conditions do apply. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Check out Game Time. Download it today. $20 off. Game Time, proud partner of Seahawks Today and Chat Sports. Download Game Time now. If the draft were to start today, at the time of this recording, the Seahawks would hold the number 15 overall pick in the draft. And based on the different mocks that are out there, they would be right in the hunt to pursue Michael Penix Jr. Here's some mock drafts and some projections to some of the teams that are out there from some of the various different news sites. Sporting News right now has Penix Jr. projected to go 14th to the LA Rams. Pro Football Network has Penix to go to Tampa Bay at 20. CBS Sports Network is projecting Penix to go to the Raiders at 11. The 33rd team has Penix at 19 going to Tampa Bay. And then Bleacher Report has Penix going 6th overall to the Atlanta Falcons. So in that range, Penix is around potentially for the Seattle Seahawks team. Now, then as we scout him more and wonder who he compares to, there was one that really stood out that I thought was a very interesting comparison, and that is Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. And I got to tell you, I like what I've seen from Tua the last couple of years. And when you look at the play between these two quarterbacks, it's pretty simple. In fact, Joe Klatt, who does an incredible job covering college football for Fox Sports, one of the best analysts in the country, he put some context to this of comparing both Penix to Tua, and this is what Klatt had to say. He does everything well. His game translates incredibly well to the next level. Look at the throws he makes. He's like a stronger, more powerful version of Tua. Now, is he as good as Tua? I'm not sure. Maybe. He certainly got that potential because he certainly has more power in his delivery as a passer and his accuracy and his ability to have downfield accuracy and downfield timing. With Michael Penix, it is on target and on time, and this is what allows him to be as good of a downfield passer as we've seen in college football in a long time. So very big compliments there from Joel Klatt comparing him to Tua. Look, I would take Tua right now. You're going to tell me I get a younger, stronger version of Tua? I'll sign up for that. And you look at this weekend, going up against the Michigan Wolverines. This is going to be his toughest test yet. This is the number one defense in college football. They are so physical, this Michigan Wolverine team is, especially in the trenches. We're going to really see what Michael Penix Jr. is all about when he faces this Michigan defense, how stingy they are, and with the talent that they bring to the table, this could be a problem for what Penix is about to face. And as I look at Michael Penix Jr., and we continue to scout him and give our analysis on him further, here's my two biggest concerns. Number one, is he a byproduct of the great talent around him? Because when you look at Odunze and Polk and those guys, that's NFL receivers that he's got with the Washington Huskies. Think about Mac Jones a couple years ago with the Alabama Crimson Tide, when he got to play with Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle and all those guys, and then he goes up to the New England Patriots, all of a sudden doesn't have those weapons, and he looks like a shrimp. I mean, is it Penix? Is it the talent around him, or is it a little bit of both? I don't know. That's a credit to Washington for the talent that's there, though. Number two, since the ACL injury and all that, he doesn't have the mobility he once had. He can escape, but it's when he can throw on the run, right? He's not going to run for 50 or 60 yards in a game. That's not his game. And he does have that significant injury history. So will that be a problem? Will that catch up to him? Those are my two big concerns. But that doesn't stop me from still wanting him in Seattle. I would love him to be the next Seattle Seahawks quarterback, and I know you do too. So let's start the movement right now here on Seahawks Today. Spam P to C in the comments section. This is going to be our rallying cry, our calling chord over the next few months up until the NFL draft. We're going to do our part to keep Michael Penix in Seattle and be the next quarterback of your Seattle Seahawks. Spam P to C in the comments section. Now the Geno Smith factor. Seahawks have a team option on Geno. Nothing guaranteed after this season. And so then what do you do with Geno Smith? The truth of the matter is that Geno was never the long-term solution for the Seahawks. He was always a stopgap quarterback after what we saw from Russell Wilson, right? And he's done a very good job of being the stopgap quarterback. When you look at this draft, whether it's Michael Penix Jr. or some of these other quarterbacks, this is a golden opportunity for the Seattle Seahawks to find their next quarterback of the future. And you could have a situation where you bring Geno back, you have a quarterback that sits behind him, and then once they're ready to take over, they get the job. Maybe Geno does something similar to what we saw with Alex Smith, with what he did with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, or what Aaron Rodgers did with Jordan Love in Green Bay. We've seen that's still the best recipe for success. But I am A-okay with saying, you know what, Geno, we appreciate you, what you did for this franchise. You meant a lot to us, but it's time to go a new direction and go with a guy like Michael Penix Jr. What do you think? Who's more likely to be next year's quarterback? Would you rather have Geno or would you rather have Michael Penix Jr.? Type G for Geno, M for Michael Penix Jr. Let me know which quarterback you'd rather have next year. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of Seahawks Today. For daily Seattle Seahawks coverage, subscribe now for free, and don't miss out right here on Seahawks Today. All right. What do you guys think? Should Michael Penix Jr., should the Seahawks draft Michael Penix Jr.? Y for yes, N for no. We did have a couple super chats. We'll get to those here in just a second. Caleb says Penix to the Broncos. I hope not. I hope that's not the case. What do you guys think? Penix to Seattle. Smitty, you and I have been very high on Penix, and I loved what I saw last Monday night. I think this is just a natural fit.
It's a natural fit. Keep him home. And all we've heard about Michael Penix over the past few months is that he's such a team-first guy, and he just goes to bat for his teammates. That's the kind of guy I want leading this franchise over the next couple of years. We didn't really see that with Russell Wilson over the latter part of his time in Seattle. Geno Smith, great leader, just didn't really have the upside that we want in a franchise quarterback. Does Michael Penix have that? I don't know. He's an old quarterback. He's an older quarterback with a good bit of injury history. But I love the fit. I love the story. And I think it would just be a good changing of the guard for the Seahawks franchise.
What do you think of Joe Klatt's comp, a better, stronger-armed Tua?
That's a pretty good ball player, if I say so. And I don't love Tua. But a bigger, stronger version, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think it's very accurate, too.
And limit the interceptions. I think Penix is a better decision maker than Tua. So
right,
limit the interceptions, and I think he could be a really good ball player in the NFL.
What do you guys think? Y for yes, in for no. Looks like everybody loves the idea of bringing Penix to Seattle. There are a lot of Ys in the chat. Couple super chats to get to. First one from the man himself. Our first super chat of the day says, if we're keeping Jamal Adams, he needs to be moved to outside linebacker. We'll put this in the mailbag, too, by the way. Penix Jr. surprised me in a bowl game. I still hope we get Jaden Daniels from LSU. Prayers work, go Hawks. Jaden Daniels impressed a lot of people this year with the LSU Tigers.
What do you have, 50 touchdowns?
That's insane. He won the Heisman? Yeah.
I mean, listen, he's definitely more confident of a runner of the football than he is a downfield passer right now, but that can change. Look at Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. Jamal Adams, I don't think moving him outside linebacker really solves things. I'm ready to move on from Jamal Adams personally, but we'll see the man himself. Thanks for that super chat. Mark Sanchez with the $10 super chat. Good to see you, Mark. Says, hashtag Seahawks, if Pete is no longer our head ball coach, we should hire Kalen DeBoer and draft Michael Penix Jr. How much success would they have and the likelihood that happens? So that's an interesting point, actually. If the Seahawks do move on from Pete, Smitty, I guarantee there's going to be a lot of calls, and rightfully so, for Kalen DeBoer to be the next head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Stay right there in Seattle after all those wins with the Washington Huskies.
Take Michael Penix with them.
Take Penix with him, even if they don't beat Michigan, actually. Just the fact that they've had that much success in a short amount of time. He was really good at Fresno, won titles at the NAIA level. That's going to be a popular demand of sorts.
Maybe he just naturally moves up the ladder. He's gone from small school to big D1, now national championship, and could the NFL be next for Kalen DeBoer?
Yeah,
we'll see.
Maybe so. Mark, thanks for that super chat. Let's go back to super chat menu here real quick, and we'll start our mailbag here. Last chance to get on the mailbag segment. You can send in a super chat. Super chats get priority. Or you can use hashtag Seahawks to get on the mailbag, our final segment of the day, coming up in just a bit. Hashtag Seahawks or super chat. Here's what we got today. First time super chatters get the Seahawks chant. $5, play a little truth or dare. $10, taking shots. $20, beer chug. $100 gets you in the Emerald Club. That's our Seahawks Today Hall of Fame. And then we get to $200. We're taking down Das Boot. We're up to $15 right now. I do owe a truth or dare that came in. So with that, I'll pose a little question out there. A little truth question of some sorts. Smitty, who is the NFL player right now you hate the most?
Hate is a strong word, and I don't
strongly
like to hate.
Dislike.
I don't like to hate, but strongly dislike. Jalen Hurts is up there.
Yeah?
Yeah, Jalen Hurts is up there. Brock Purdy's up there. 'Cause he's really good. And I'm kind of I'm a Brock Purdy denier. So the fact that he's really good kind of hurts. Tua's been that guy for a long time. I just don't like him. I don't know. I just don't think he's good. Thinking of anybody else? Anybody screwed me over in fantasy football? No, I think it's a solid group. It's tough to stray from quarterbacks. I mean, there's some dirty defensive players that
It's me, Dio, says Jamal Adams.
Jamal Adams is one of them. Yeah, Russell Wilson, actually. No, Russell Wilson's number one. Russell
Wilson probably be number one for me.
Yeah, he's number one.
I don't like Zeke. I've never liked Zeke, but he's kind of irrelevant now.
He's been playing very well in fantasy-wise for the Patriots. He's getting touchdowns, racking up some catches. Like he's having a decent latter half of the season.
Yeah, I've never liked Zeke. Those would probably be the two to come to mind. Let's see. Cookie says, Jones, can you at least admit that Geno at least has good vision and an amazing arm? He deserves better. Amazing? I've never described Geno as having an amazing arm. I don't know where that came from, Cookie. He's got a decent arm. Amazing is a strong word. Amazing is like love. Like when you try to tell somebody that you love them, like you want to really throw around the L word. Amazing's in that same category. Amazing? I've never said amazing to describe Geno's arm, but all right, whatever. Not an amazing arm, but sure. Now, final segment, mailbag time. Get your questions in. Hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat. And we'll get do we have enough questions to start? We're still waiting on some more. Okay, we got enough questions to start. Perfect. Okay, perfect. All right, keep sending in your questions. Hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get in the mailbag. Mark got the right idea. Amazing arm, sober up. Yeah, not amazing. Okay. All right, here we go. Mailbag time. Final segment. Let's go. Noted Gang, where you at? Folks, we're bringing you daily Seattle Seahawks news and rumors, live shows, watch parties, Q&A mailbags, and more. And if you never want to miss a moment, you need to not just be subscribed, but have your notifications turned on. Join the Noti gang. Hit that bell icon. Turn on notifications to stay up to date what's happening with your favorite team. We got you covered each and every day here on Seahawks Today. Spam Noti gang in the chat if you're part of the Noti gang. We'll get started with today's show. The great one, Mark Sanchez, with a $10 super chat. Bang! Says, hashtag Seahawks, if Pete is no longer our head coach and we hire Kalen DeBoer and draft Michael Penix Jr., how much success would they have in the likelihood that happens? I got to tell you, I really like the idea of drafting Michael Penix Jr. If Pete is gone, Kalen DeBoer, I think, is going to get a lot of attention from Seahawk fans. And I'll be honest, I don't know what Kalen DeBoer's interest is in coaching in the NFL. Some guys are college guys, some guys are NFL guys, and that's okay. But here's what I do know about Kalen DeBoer, okay, to put it in simple context for you. He's been a winner everywhere. The NAIA level, Fresno State, now with the Washington Huskies. They've won 21 games in a row going into this weekend's matchup against Michigan in the national championship game. Kalen DeBoer has been a winner. And the offense that he runs can work in the NFL. That's a very pro-style offense that can work. I do have concerns. The defense wasn't great for the Huskies this year. Be curious to see what he would do for a defense in the NFL. But Kalen DeBoer, great track record. Penix, you guys know, I've been high on Penix. Would love to see him be the Seahawks quarterback. I think that could be a marriage that works in the National Football League, and it would be a very popular one to see them stay in Seattle and move up together with the Seattle Seahawks. The man himself with a $5 super chat says, if we're keeping Jamal Adams, he needs to be moved to outside linebacker. Penix Jr. surprised me in the bowl game, but I hope we get Jaden Daniels. Jamal Adams, I don't really care about moving him to outside linebacker. I'm just done with him. You can have all these solutions and say, he should play outside linebacker, do this or that. At the end of the day, he just needs to be gone. That's the best solution. As far as Jaden Daniels goes, Jaden Daniels is awesome this year with LSU. That offense was rolling, had a really good year. He came a long ways as a passer. Jaden Daniels, I think there ought to be a lot of excitement about what he could do in the NFL as well, but that could be a good fit potentially. Legion of Boom forever. One, all right, Sam. What are the chances Russell Wilson returns to Seattle? So we know that he's not going to be back in Denver. And it's interesting that it could be a situation based on how his contract offsets and whatnot, where he could go somewhere and play for the league minimum. That way the Broncos are forced to pay him all that money because no one's going to pay him the money that he made in Denver in that last contract. And so that does make things interesting. A team-friendly contract of sorts with Russell Wilson. But there's too many burned bridges. There's too many hurt feelings. Russ looked bad last year. He improved this year. But if Sean Payton doesn't want Russell Wilson, and they're going to have to pay him anyway, I don't want him either. Sean Payton knows offense. Sean Payton knows football. And if Sean Payton can't work with Russell Wilson, I'm out. I don't see it happening. I just don't see that being the case. What do you guys think? Should the Seahawks bring back Russ? It's our pinned comment today. Why for yes and for no? Weigh in. Tell us what you think. The Smitty Committee back in full force. Do you expect Noah Fant to get re-signed? I really like Noah Fant. You guys know I've been a fan of Noah Fant for a long time before he ever got traded here. And, this is a guy for me that I think has been underutilized. I don't think the scheme is effective in getting Noah Fant involved the way he should. Honestly, I think Noah Fant's got the talent of a top 10 tight end in the NFL, personally speaking. But the Seahawks offense, and it hasn't changed. It doesn't matter if it's been Shane Waldron or Schottenheimer or any of these OCs in the past. Pete Carroll's never let them use the tight end effectively. And so I don't think Noah gets re-signed right now. I hope I'm wrong, and hopefully the offense changes to get him more involved. But I would be surprised, especially with Parkinson and Disley, their contract situations as well. Should the Seahawks re-sign Noah Fant? Your chance to be John Schneider on today's show. S for sign, P for pass. Weigh in. Tell us what you think if Fant should make a return or not. Today's show is brought to you by Factor. I got to tell you, I love me some Factor meals. Very tasty, easy to make, good bachelor meals, and they don't make a mess. It's very simple to do. Chef-prepared meals right to your door. Here's how it works. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal prepping and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan, plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Forget frantic lunch preps and rush dinners. Factor's 2-minute meals are your secret weapon in the new year. Fuel up fast with restaurant-quality meals, all delivered right to your door. When things get hectic, Factor is flexible. Change your order up every week with plans from 4 to 18 meals per week, or pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. Head to factormeals.com/SeahawksChat50. Use code SeahawksChat50 to get 50% off. That's code SeahawksChat50 at factormeals.com/SeahawksChat50 to get 50% off. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Factor Meals, proud partner of Seahawks Today. Yum. Ken says, hashtag Seahawks, go Dogs! Do we need to draft a QB first round or focus on defense? So many good quarterbacks this draft. A lot of attention, of course, going to be on Caleb Williams and Drake May, but whether it's Penix or Daniels or Bo Nix or a number of guys, Shedeur Sanders, Quinn Ewers, on and on and on, I don't think you can pass on an opportunity to go get that quarterback. I really want that quarterback to be figured out and have your next quarterback in the future, because if you wait till next year, you're just pushing this off another year, and that's another year of not having your franchise quarterback. I'd rather just take care of this now. Chicago sports fan writes in, who's actually a Seahawk fan, ironically enough. Can you rank the Seahawks' top 3 position needs in the draft if we don't get quarterback? And if we don't draft a quarterback, what is a realistic quarterback you would with if we don't trade up? Okay, that's a lot, Chicago sports fan. Let's break this down piece by piece. Let's start with team needs. Okay, forget the quarterback position, other positions here. Interior of the offensive line. Yes, big need. Interior of the defensive line. Big need. Linebacker. I mean, Bobby's not getting any younger. Safety. Got to look for a Jamal Adams replacement. I mean, there's quite a bit of needs, actually. Tight end as well. Those are the ones that come to mind right away as far as that goes. And if we do draft a quarterback, what is a realistic quarterback? I mean, you're talking in that 15 range, Penix, Daniels, Bo Nix, one of those type guys potentially, Chicago sports fan. Hello, guys. Hello. How do you do? Would it be better if we don't go to the playoffs for better draft picks? No. Hello, guys. You owe it to your team, to your fans, to your franchise to put your best foot forward. Week in and week out, the Seahawks need to be winning football games. And think about this. You get the 7 seed, you're playing either Detroit, Dallas, or Philadelphia. You beat Philly and Detroit already. You went toe-to-toe with Dallas earlier. You could win that game, and then who knows from there. NFC is wide open. You play to win the game. Let's go to the playoffs. Why not? Thanks for joining us here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. We got an exciting weekend ahead. Seahawks Cardinals watch party Sunday. Washington, Michigan National Championship watch party on Monday. We'll see you then. All right. Mark's got a super chat. We'll get to it here in just a second. Let's ask you guys. Should the Seahawks bring back Russell Wilson? Y for yes, in for no. I vote no. Let's see. Kit Kat Bar made it very clear, emphatically said no. What do you guys think? Y for yes, in for no. Smitty, are you an adamant no like me here?
Adamant.
Simple as that. Simple as that. Mark with $5 super chat. Truth. I thought I jinxed the Huskies with a lot of premature texts before the Dillon injury. Have you ever guys had this same experience? Smitty, I'm not much.
I had the same experience on our live stream. I put final.
We did spam W, didn't we?
We spammed W. I changed the score to our score time.
I didn't realize you did that.
Oh yeah, no, I was up there for a while too. I thought the game was over.
Oh,
Then the clock was stopped. It wasn't.
I hope Dillon Johnson can play. I hope he's fine and good to go. The last update we heard was that he's questionable. But that does make me nervous for Monday, whether Dillon Johnson is going to play or not. But yeah, it was the truth. Good stuff there from Mark. All right, we're just about done. Shot clock's on right now. I'm starting in here. 1 minute on the clock. We'll get a super chat of any amount. We'll stay live for a bit. Otherwise, we'll sign off, call it a day. First time super chatters. Seahawks chant. $5 truth or dare. $10 taking shots. $20 beer chug. $100 gets you in the Emerald Club. So here's the truth. As Mark picked the truth there, I think that's what he's going for. Smitty, what was going through your mind? Since I didn't even realize that you put final up there, what was going through your mind when that happened? Then that'll be the truth question for you.
I couldn't believe it. That an own team's injury almost sabotaged their trip to the national championship. It's not good.
I hate that rule, by the way. Of
You got to use the timeout.
like you should get the option if you're the team trying to run clock to get to run the clock before the timeout's called.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. When the play clock hits 0, call timeout.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. But yeah, that was something else. All right, clock's running out, so we're about to sign off here. Join us on Sunday, Seahawks and Cardinals. Should be a lot of fun. And then Monday night for Washington and Michigan, the national championship game. Smitty, we got your Seahawks Cardinals pick. How do you think the Natty goes on Monday?
I think, for the Seahawks' sake, Michigan wins.
For the Seahawks' sake, Michigan wins?
Yes. Because Michael Penix Jr. might get some top 10 buzz if he wins a national championship.
That actually makes sense. I think Michigan wins, but I think we could have a very good game on our hands here. We'll be rooting for the Huskies, definitely so, and we'll see you then. Live on Sunday, live on Monday. Folks, have a great rest of your week. Enjoy it, and we'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today.